It was bid to $630,000, $55,000 higher than the Black Jade car sold for, but it still didn't cross the reserve. No sale. Normally, I open these episodes hunting for something someone else is hiding. Not today. Today, I want to talk to you about an auction house that isn't hiding anything and how rare that actually is in this industry. GAA Greensboro posts clean hammer prices. No buyer's premium tricks, no reserve games buried in the fine print. In a business where you practically need a calculator and a spreadsheet just to know what a car actually sold for, that's the real secret today. Not a scandal, a straight shooter. And I'm not saying that because someone's paying me to. I'm saying it because I can check it. Every number in this episode is pulled straight from their own year-over-year results. If you're not familiar with the venue, GAA holds 4 auctions a year out of their facility in North Carolina. Their last one of 2026 is the first week of November, and I'm planning to head there, attend it in person to see if all this praise still holds up under my own eyes, not just my spreadsheets. If it doesn't, you'll hear about that too. Case in point, $250,000, $250,000. That's the swing between 2 Ford GTs at this auction, only 1 year apart. Stick with me because that number isn't what it looks like, and figuring out why is going to teach you more than the number itself. Stay till the end of the show because I'm going to show you 2 nearly identical muscle cars that landed $55,000 apart for a reason that has nothing to do with how they look and everything to do with which one you can actually trust. If you're new here, I'm Rudy Samsel, co-founder of Guys with Rides, the trusted resource for classic and collector car enthusiasts. I apply my experience as a data analyst in the pharmaceutical industrial complex to analyze trends in the car hobby. One quick housekeeping note, and it's really the same point from a different angle. Unlike some of the mega auction houses, GAA posts clean hammer prices with no buyer's premium baked in. So every number you're about to hear is a true apples to apples comparison year over year. No asterisks, no math homework. Segment 1, the Ford GT. Read the fine print on the same car. The top sale at GAA Greensboro in July 2025 was a 2005 Ford GT for $410,000 out of the Jimmy and Julian Rawls collection. The top sale in July 2026, however, was a 2006 Ford GT for $660,000. Before you run off and tell everyone Ford GTs are up 61% in a year, here's the fine print. That 2026 car had only 18 miles on the odometer. 18. That's not a well-kept collector car. That's a car that has barely left the showroom floor 20 years later, essentially in factory delivery condition. So this isn't really the market for Ford GTs, it's the market for a basically brand new Ford GT, which is its own much smaller category. 2 different cars, 2 different stories. So no, I didn't just walk you into a $250,000 mystery to hand you a fake number. I walked you in to show you how fast a real number turns into a misleading one the second you stop reading the listing. That's the whole game in this episode. So let's find some numbers that actually hold up. Segment 2, Dodge had a moment. Dodge sold 21 cars in July 2025 at GAA for a combined total of $844,000. In July 2026, 32 Dodges worth just under $2.1 million. The average sales price for Dodges was up 62%. Leading the charge, a 1969 Charger Daytona at $272,500, a 1970 Challenger TA at $197,000, a 1969 Super B A12 at $167,000, and a 1970 Charger RT at $120,000. 4 different Dodge muscle cars, 4 different 6-figure or close results. For comparison, Pontiac had a good year. Their average was up 16%, just nowhere near Dodge's pace. And here's the why. Dodge's jump came on real volume. 21 cars sold last year, up to 32 this year, while Pontiac held flat at 31 cars both years. Same field, same buyers, just less firepower moving through it. This wasn't just a good weekend for Dodge, it was a good year, and it was a busy one. Segment 3, muscle and pony cars. The strength is broad, not borrowed. Zoom out from Dodge and to muscle cars overall. My strict 1964 to 1972 window with every make. 168 sold in 2025 for a total of 8.6 million, averaging just over $51,000. This year, 162 sold for 10.58 million, averaging $65,000, up 27.6% on almost the same car count. And 2025's top sale in this category, a $650,000 Shelby GT350, was actually bigger than 2026's top sale, the $575,000 Boss 429 we'll get to later. Pony cars told a similar story. 82 sold in 2025, 91 in 2026. The average is up almost 12%, with Ford outright dominating at 43 of those 91 sales, including a 1967 Mustang Eleanor Tribute car that pulled 202.5. Real money for a car that isn't even numbers matching. One footnote worth flagging, Plymouth's Barracuda average rocketed from just under 35,000 last year to 115,000 on just 2 sales each year, entirely because one CUDA hit 200,000. That's not a trend, that's 2 data points doing a handstand, but it's worth remembering anytime an average is built on a tiny sample size. Segment 4, the barbell, where this market is actually headed. Cars selling for 6 figures nearly doubled their share of the field. 3.8% of the sold lots in 2025, 7.3% in 2026. Meanwhile, the 15,000 to 30,000 range, the historical bread and butter tier, shrank from 35.7% down to 31.8%. The market isn't getting bigger. GAA is the latest example of the market getting a bigger head and skinnier legs. And if you're the buyer sitting in that $20,000 to $100,000 middle, the one this whole channel is built for, that squeeze means the cars around you are getting judged harder. Sellers can't just point to a famous name or a good story anymore and expect top dollar. When the middle thins out, the cars that stay in it need to prove themselves. Segment 5, where are the Porsches? GAA Greensboro listed exactly one Porsche in July 2026, a Boxster S that sold for $11,500. That's one car, so I won't pretend to tell you anything about Porsche values from this auction. Full disclosure, I own a Boxster, so I'm not about to build a trend out of a sample size of one. What is a real number though, foreign makes overall made up under 11% of the field at GAA, both years. Mercedes-Benz was the closest thing to strong import presence, 19 listed in 2026, not surprisingly mostly SL Series Roadsters, but even those topped out around 32,000, nowhere near domestic muscle car money. This is the heart of NASCAR country, and the field reflects it. Big domestic engines and bench seats dominate the docket. If you want European iron, GAA Greensboro isn't where you'll find the deepest selection. Segment 6, quick hits, Corvettes and trucks. Corvette volume was up 21% overall at GAA this year, but the mid-year cars, the 63 to 67 C2 generation, are what's actually driving it, up from an $87,000 average last year to nearly $116,000 this year, nearly a third higher on real volume. Interestingly, the early C1s are worth watching too. Just 1 sold at GAA in 2025, while 5 sold there in 2026, averaging $73,700. Too small a sample to call a trend yet, but early Corvettes went from a no-show to a real category in 1 year. On the truck side, the K5 Blazer quietly woke up. 1 sale in 2025 at $27,000, while this year saw 3 sales averaging $53,500, nearly double the price on triple the volume. First-gen Broncos held steady too, averaging just under $70,000, but actually climbing even as fewer crossed the block. And the single biggest truck sale of 2026 wasn't even vintage. A 2016 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Unlimited pulled $89,000. That's a reminder that modern off-roaders are creeping into the same buyer conversation as the classics. If you're sitting on a clean square body Blazer or a first-gen Bronco, This might be the year to find out what it's worth. Segment 7. 2 Boss 429s, one very expensive lesson. GAA Greensboro ran 2 numbers matching 1969 Boss 429 Mustangs this year. Genuinely rare cars with only about 850 built for the model year out of just 1,359 ever made across the whole 2-year run. On paper, these cars are close to twins. Same year, same drivetrain, same rarity. And that rarity is exactly why the paperwork question matters as much as it does. Car 1, black jade paint, a never restored survivor with its original numbers matching 429 engine and 4-speed transmission, original Magnum 500 wheels, and a serious pedigree. Previously owned by Peter Clutt of Legendary Motor Car, the Canadian muscle car legend who had his own restoration TV show. It sold for $575,000. Car 2 was a Wimbledon white example. This one was a full Concours grade frame-off restoration completed by specialist Drew Alazar between 2017 and 2018, backed by a deluxe Marty report, the original window sticker, and the original build sheet. It was bid to $630,000, $55,000 higher than the black jade car sold for, but it still didn't cross the reserve. No sale, and it's still available as of this taping. So the market's ceiling on the fully restored car was at least $55,000 above what the untouched, Clute-owned Survivor actually sold for. That alone should stop you in your tracks. Survivor cars with famous ownership are supposed to command the premium in this hobby, not lose ground to a restoration. Here's the piece that explains the gap. The black jade car's title is branded, exceeds mechanical limits on both its Pennsylvania and former Maryland titles, a brand that shows up when a vehicle's mileage can no longer be verified. On a car whose entire pitch is low-mile numbers matching Survivor, an unverifiable odometer undercuts the exact thing that's supposed to make it special. The white car, however, carries no such brand, just a complete, provable paper trail from day one. So the honest headline isn't identical cars, wildly different outcomes for no reason. It is this: the market was willing to bid $55,000 higher for the car with bulletproof documentation than it ultimately paid for the car with the bigger name attached, because that name couldn't answer the one question serious buyers had. Survivor status and a famous former owner still matter. They just don't outrun a title brand. The lesson for anyone shopping six-figure muscle: a great story is not a substitute for a clean title. Do your homework. So here's the real headline out of GAA Greensboro. No premium games, no fine print, and a market that will punish a famous name the second the paperwork doesn't back it up. In an industry full of asterisks, that's rarer than you'd think, and I'll be checking my own math on that in November in person. That's this week's auction secret. I'm Rudy Samsel. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more of this. How many of you have a classic or collector car sitting in the garage right now that you know you should sell? I wrote a guide to fix exactly that. 5 modules: rating, pricing, venue, photography, and a 90-point inspection checklist. $19.99. One time. Not a subscription, not a course. Just the actual information you need. Scan the QR code or use the links in the description. And now back to this episode of